reasons why wars are won. When you have the biggest and deadliest killing machines, it really helps. When you want to make a big impact, you need maximum firepower.
There's nothing to clear but the munitions and the bodies.
There's no place to hide from this cave-busting bomb. It's one of the world's most powerful munitions. The Iraqis called this rocket Steel Rain.
The enemy just trembles.
And I'm about to see it unleashed.
Normally, this isn't a place you want to be.
I'm Richard Mackwoods, and I spent 10 years as a Navy SEAL. I thought I'd seen everything, but there is a new generation of big, brutal weapons out there which will create maximum impact on the battlefield. It's military shorthand for Multiple Launch Rocket System. A whole family of launch vehicles, rockets, and missiles. It's designed to hit targets that ordinary cannons just can't reach.
The first missions we shot were between 60 and 65 kilometers.
It was initially deployed during the first Gulf War, when military thinking favored high-volume attacks covering as large an area as possible. The original MLRS rocket was unguided and carried hundreds of individual bomblets, which caused damage over a huge area. Because of this, the Iraqi troops soon gave it the nickname Steel Rain.
MLRS was defined in Desert Storm. I mean, Steel Rain. I mean, it's instant surrender, don't even fire at us.
But the changing needs of modern warfare means that technology has to adapt. Today, precision is the name of the game. And here at White Sands Missile Range, preparations are well underway to test the very latest addition to the MLRS family.
How long has this system been around?
The guided multiple launch rocket systems have been around only for about 5 or 6 years, but it traces its history back to the original multiple launch rocket system, which was developed in the early 80s. The accuracy was limited, and it was an area munition. And after the first Gulf War, we learned some lessons from that. And one of those big lessons was that we needed munitions that had better precision, able to attack point targets with good precision. And so that started us on the path towards development of the guided multiple launch rocket system.
The weapon is guided because it uses GPS to pinpoint its targets at ranges of over 50 miles.
The military has access to more accurate GPS than, say, the civilian. Consequently, we can fire these rockets very accurately.
It limits the collateral damage. It has incredible pinpoint precision.
We want to hit the target. We want to devastate the target and prove that we can show the capability all the way from command and control all the way down to the launcher. You know, you can basically hit a target and not take out the buildings around it. You know, precision attack is really what's going on today in today's asymmetrical battlefield.
And it carries a single high explosive warhead to focus all its destructive power on just one spot.
It's able to defeat the targets and be lethal, but limit the damage to the surrounding areas.
You know, you can basically hit a target and not take out the buildings around it.
We know we kill it if we hit it.
An earlier version of this rocket has already completed its testing phase and proven itself highly successful in combat.
Right now, they're fielded to Iraq. We had an urgent need from the Iraqi theater, and so we hurried into production to get these rockets over there.
The current version deployed in Iraq detonates on impact and has a delay mode for underground targets.
We have point detonate, which is when impacts on the ground, it detonates, and then delay mode where it goes underground a little bit before
What's the advantage of, like, delay mode?
Well, delay, if you have an underground target, you can get the rocket underground where the target is. The advantage of point detonate is you have fragments in a smaller area in case you have a stringent collateral damage requirements. Like if shooting into an urban area, you just want to get the bad guys. You don't want to hurt any civilian. We actually haven't settled on the tactical delay time yet. These are development tests. We haven't determined yet which will be most effective. These will probably only go a meter underground before they detonate.
But this is White Sands, where only the very latest cutting-edge weapons are tested. And this version has yet another method of destruction. The airburst, where the missile detonates just 30 feet above the ground.
The rockets that are currently fielded in Iraq do not have the airburst fuse mode.
Right.
So this is a new test for them, and it will be fielded soon.
The airburst gives us capability to attack a wide area target.
What kind of damage will we see on the target site?
Well, I think the results will be evident tomorrow. You're going to get to see the before and afters, but I think you'll see devastating effects on target.
I decided to visit the test site so I could really judge the missile's true power. White Sands is the largest military installation in the United States, so just to see the target area, I had to hit the road and drive over 40 miles. I left the launch pad and have been on the road for 30 minutes. I still have probably 15 to 20 minutes to go. The rocket will make that same journey in less than 120 seconds. 45 minutes later, I finally reached my destination. An eerily quiet location in the middle of the desert plains. It feels like the calm before the storm. I've been granted access to this impact site. Normally, this isn't a place you want to be. As you can see, these mannequins are numbered all over. That's so after the test, they can identify all the pieces. The mannequins and the field gun are the target for the airburst test, where 3 rockets will explode above the ground in a shower of deadly fragments. But just a few hundred feet away lies the second target designed to show the devastating effect of the rocket's delay mode in taking out underground targets. This bunker complex is effectively an enemy command center complete with a half-dozen chambers leading off a central corridor. A structure this solid would normally offer adequate protection from small arms fire, mortars, and even light artillery. This is an extremely elaborate, entrenched position. I'm really curious to see what the missiles will do to this target. There's about an hour to go before the first launch. The vehicle is now loaded with live rockets.
You can see in the background what's going on behind me. They're actually loading the real rocket pod. It's conditioned hot, and there's live ordnance on the pad.
The rockets are treated with the greatest of care as they're loaded into the launch vehicle. The munitions also go through an extreme testing process that simulates arduous battlefield conditions.
They have seen a life cycle of use and abuse.
It's all the tactical vibrations, all the transportation shocks, all the temperature extremes that you'd see.
We beat them against the wall. They've been baked, frozen. We strap them down to a giant paint shaker and shake them for several hours, which simulates a lifetime of riding on the launcher.
The test didn't start just today. The test has been going on for 6 weeks.
17, 16, 15.
The countdown has begun, and in just a few seconds, the first of the rockets will be on their way to the bunker site.
3, 2, 1, fire.
That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. As soon as the smoke from the first launch has cleared, a second one tears across the sky.
We're good? All right. 2 away. Boom. All right, one event on the ground.
The bunker is finished.
precision that just hits the target. So, I mean, we're not talking about just hitting a building now. We're talking about hitting, you know, the west side room in the corner of that building. The guys love it. The soldiers, they absolutely love this system. It's a powerful weapon, and just to see it fire is an amazing thing.
I've been doing this my whole career, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. I love this system. I've loved it since I joined the Army, and I still love it to this day.
Fresh from a tour of duty in Iraq, these soldiers from the 13th Field Artillery belong to the 1st Army unit to field the guided unitary rocket.
Bad piece of machinery.
Just watching it fire is an awesome thing just to see.
The psychological component is big, too.
I don't know that there's any other system out there that provides no warning. There's absolutely no warning. Once he's targeted, the next thing he hears or doesn't hear is the explosion.
At the launch pad, it's almost time for the second set of test firings. This time, 3 rockets have been programmed for airburst mode, which should explode just off the ground.
That's flying up to 69,000 feet.
Data and images coming back from the targets indicate the tests are a resounding success. But the only way to totally be sure is to see it ourselves.
How'd it go?
Look for yourself.
Look for myself. All right.
Absolutely.
First, the airburst explosions. It should have rained down tons of shrapnel on our mannequins.
What's amazing is when you look at this impact area, how little damage there is. I mean, it's very specific. You got a burst that comes up about 30 feet in the air, comes down and rains down metal right on the targets it's supposed to hit. You look around, there's very little damage at all. It's a very precise, very lethal weapon.
They're all three shots all close within this area.
Okay. I mean, this guy's no longer with us for sure. I mean, just the blast pattern alone. I mean, if anybody's even lucky enough to survive,
There's heat and pressure along with the fragmentation that gives us the full effect. For instance, this one mannequin doesn't have any fragments on it, but it's unlikely he would survive the attack.
Yeah, just the pressure on the eardrums, the sinus cavities, all those places, just collapsing. Needless to say, this artillery position is no longer functioning.
Certainly the people aren't able to operate it, and there's some good damage to the artillery piece itself, too.
And as for the bunker?
Bunker looks nothing like I saw it yesterday.
No, it's very changed.
I mean, there were rooms, there were separate areas. Wow. You know, there's part of me that I love explosives, you know, but this is the hard, cold reality that anybody inside this area, it's over.
Yeah, it would have taken a lot of smaller munitions, a lot of effort to get at this. But with two of our rockets, you can see it's pretty much out of commission.
It's finished. I've never seen a weapon that travels 50 miles and hits a target within 10 meters.
And you can see that really this is not that large of a target, and we put 2 rockets on here at 2 different specific locations. That's how accurate we're aiming. It gives you great lethal effects right where you want them to be, but it doesn't, it contains those effects into a close area and doesn't cause any collateral damage outside that area where you want the effects to be.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, you wouldn't want to be inside this bunker right now. Well, it'd be over.
Absolutely. The soldiers are out there doing tough jobs.